Hello dear viewer, here's the thing, I might get sometimes a bit too annoyed at editing my face for a prolonged period of time, so I have decided to go down the route of voiceover. And what better way to start a voiceover than with using it for talking about the good old K-pop. I have said it before, but I will say it again, I have been a fan of the music for over a decade. K-pop is on 12 months a year, and this year has been no different. However, I've been thinking and trying to analyze the industry and my position as a fan. I made 12 thoughts, so let's go. One thing about K-pop is that they will take a concept and go with it, and I love that. When it is just a music video and performances, that's cool, but I do like me some lore. I mean, it should be fun and entertaining, so I have always respected how deep they can get with it. I find it funny how sometimes new people think it's all green screen, but many times it is not. They do build a part of the actual plays, and it is lovely just from an artistic point of view. I will say that I am glad the cute AF period is over and the extreme cutesy themes are gone, because it was a lot. Some people were just not happy, and you could tell. Also, I am glad the shows have changed. With the pandemic, the groups can do their own thing, both inside and outside, which has given so much content is wild. And also keep the themes and storylines, which I appreciate. But also, the shows in general are just less violent, and they also used to be a bit too much. I feel since they added idols as MC and not just having middle-aged men, a lot has changed for the better. K-pop albums are superior, send tweet. From the same price, most of the time, instead of a simple plastic case with just the CD and maximum 8-page book with some photos and lyrics in tiny font, to a complete thought out toy. It's amazing. Not all are winners, let's be honest, but some are amazing. Not only do they follow the concept, but they have all the lyrics and credits in ways that allows you want to see it, but also everything from the font to where it is placed, the photos. I mean, while you listen to the album, you have so much cool things to see. The clothing, the spaces, the accessories, they pay a lot of attention to detail, and it's amazing. I also like that they try different formats, and even though I am not a huge fan of an album for each member, I can appreciate that it's an extra work done well. And again, for a decent price. On this note, also saying that yes, that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of videos talking about the albums that not only do I have, but that I really like. If you don't have them, cannot afford them, or just don't want to, that's fine, honestly. Now, I am a second gen, like stated before, and I want to say that it doesn't really matter. I actually first got into J-pop and then C-pop, but Korea really kept me coming back, and I happen to like it a lot and enjoy it, so I kind of stayed very much with K-pop. Just the music videos, and maybe if you were lucky a behind the scenes you could find, or a show usually not great quality and no subtitles. I did not have a continuous internet access for a while, but whenever I could, I would check what was going on, and I would say that during the 2016-ish, I went back to checking it a lot, and by that time a lot had happened. This to say that in reality, I wasn't aware of a lot of things that had happened. I was just vibing when I could. So yeah, I have seen some things change for the better or worse, and I sort of witnessed some happenings, but at this point, if you want to know more, just search for it. Honestly, the internet can be great, and there are a lot of educational videos out there explaining not just the gossip, but also the cultural aspects and giving various points of view. I learned things I had no clue had happened while I was just vibing, some silly and some important. Also, the whole generational division is just to keep track of history and help in our human need to classify everything and put a name on timeline to it. It ain't that deep. The honeymoon period. So, I call this a period during which it seems like everything they do is perfect. It seems that Korea is the most amazing place in the world, and everything they do is cool and just better. I didn't have this with Korea, I had it with Japan to be honest, but the same applies. They have technology and the fun music, and you see the food that seems amazing, and the futuristic cities and the beautiful countryside and whatnot. This period, however, can lead to a romanticized view of a culture that, as with any other, it's not perfect. I will just invite you to check a documentary and maybe, like said before, check some videos of people that are actually from there, listen to various accounts. If you're actually interested in the culture, then accept that it is not perfect. If you really like it and you want to go deeper, that's cool, that's amazing. Always remember, it's important to be aware of the actual state of things. K-pop is just one thing about Korea. There's a lot more going on. Now, let's go to the medium leagues, I guess. Talent. The vast majority of idols are in the industry because they can sing or dance or act or all of them. Sure, many are good looking and that helps, but overall, if they can't hold a note or dance, they won't make it. I have no recollection of an idol that has made it big and being praised by just being good looking. Yes, fitting the idea of beauty helps a lot, that is a global thing, but that carries people up to a certain point. Also, what is being talented? We praise a lot a high note, and yes, it can be nice to hear it and can add to a climatic moment of a song, but imagine just a song of high notes. Be too much. Having a middle range that can be controlled can be as good to listen to. Similar thing with dancing. Is a real talent if someone goes full ballet recital every time? Or if they do a very intricate and crazy choreography? Think about how many dances are famous from K-pop that everyone can do, and at the same time, when a group showcases a complex choreo, it is also fun and entertaining. Point being, we can be very technical and focus on the more specialized aspects to judge from top to bottom a music video or whole album or concert and say that what is really good, but then you either like it or not. And that is what really keeps you there. So using talent as a form of weapon, it's kind of silly, to be honest. Money. Companies need to make a profit. That is the base of the system we live in. Having fun and enjoying the job and doing what you love is a great thing. However, the basis for most choices, especially from a company's point of view, is to have an income. The company and the shareholders and everyone wants to earn some pennies, and they will decide what to do and when and how based on that. I say this based on the comments like they don't have enough comebacks, or fans expecting 2 Korean comebacks, a Japanese comeback, an album, a summer show, a winter show, and then the fan says and a list of things all in a year, and if groups done, then shame on them. If we need to drop names to make the point clearer, let's do so. I'm okay with that. Like Pink. The girls are in a company that was doing good and is still afloat. They have various sources of income and they seem to be doing great. But people use and kind of steal a lot of the took too long for an album. We have to wait too much for a solo. But funny enough, once those things were out, we found out that the girls would just chill with the whole thing. Basically, they weren't rushing it because they don't have the need to rush it. A group of artists from a smaller company probably wouldn't have been able to do that, and most groups need a few years of a lot of comebacks and albums and one thing after another just to pay the debt and then maybe earn something. If later the groups enjoy having comebacks and they have a lot of ideas they want to share, that is great. I'm not complaining about content. I'm just saying that whether is a lot or not that much, if the idols are enjoying what they are doing and putting out, and hopefully feel gratified with what they are doing, that's wonderful. I do know that sometimes a lack of comeback or news can be a not great indicator and fans worry, which is fair, but check the context, given that sometimes it is from a small company and the members maybe are just done and they have the right to do so. If they want to go, they should be able to. If they're tired of being an idol, that's also a respectful decision. Also remember that we are not there. We don't see the contracts, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, here we go. Know your place. Okay, it sounds harsh, but I think we need to be honest. Statistically speaking, most of us are not Korean. Even if you love the country and study the history from scratch, you are not part of that culture, and so no say in whether something about that culture is right or wrong, especially when it comes to moral grounds. Let the people that know speak, learn to listen. If you care for the culture, let the people from that culture take the step forward. This goes both from simple things to big issues, and it is also valid for other countries and cultures. Also, there is an even higher percentage of probability that you don't know those people. Keep in check the parasocial relationship. The industry thrives from it, both for good and bad, and many times you might be taking the bad. Remember, number 1, they are humans. They are just dudes, all of them. His, hers, theys, just humans like you and me. And so, like us, they deserve respect. Second, they have a private life. If they want to share something, then say, okay, thanks, and then let it go. Move on. There is a line that can get very blurry, especially with all the social media and how instant news are, and again, the whole parasocial relationship that the industry uses. So it is important to work on redrawing that line. Entitlement runs wild. Here's how the actual thing works. I pay for an album, and I get an album. I pay for a concert, and I go to the concert. I pay for many albums, and I might get a phone call. Idols and the companies do not own you anything other than that. What you pay for is what you get. Lives and posts and content is an extra decision that they don't have to do. If you watch the music video 100 times, that's on you. It's your choice. Same with giving 1,000,000 hearts or having 5 accounts to vote. That's on you. Artists and the company do not own you anything from that. And it doesn't mean they have to have the 3 comebacks, an album and concert and show, or never leave the company and the group. They are nice and say, oh, thank you that we reached 1,000,000 views or whatever, or thanks for the award. And that's it. Yes, fans can help to show who is being listened to actually, and they can help quite a lot. Give someone a better chance to be recognized. But you don't have to do it. And again, other than that, I thank you, they don't own you anything. If I buy an album and they have a comeback, that's great. If I buy an album and they don't have a comeback, that's also acceptable. That's how it is. Now, one can argue that by watching the content and voting, one could bring them profit, and yeah, that is true, but here's the thing, that is based on you, not them. You're the one choosing to watch the video multiple times. The whole streaming thing was made up by fans, and usually fans are the ones worrying more about that than the artists themselves. Shows and competitions are just profiting by creating new ways for you to prove that your group is the best, and you end up doing a 9 to 5 and giving them also profit. If you want to do it and have fun, that's great, but that's the tricky part. It shouldn't feel like a job or make or break thing. You shouldn't need to do that, because again, you don't have to do it. Okay, let's go to the major leagues. Who paved the way? Everyone did, full stop. Yes, BTS has done great things. I was there when Jimin wanted to act like a bad boy, and they had a weird hairstyle. I saw them grow, and I am so happy that the thing I used to just see on the computer, I am now listening on the TV and seeing albums being sold in the stores. Music that I used to be the only one knowing in my whole class now is global. That is beautiful. The Voice themselves have always said it, that they got inspired by many artists that came before them. So from the West and some from the Korea. And so they are also part of the way. Just because they have been the most successful doesn't mean that all the artists are not valid. Also, some artists did manage to make bridges in various parts of the world. I mean, the whole point was for K-pop not to be just something that I, random person on the internet, saw on my computer, but to make it global and have people from all parts of the world having fun. So let's just stop this whole discussion. It really doesn't make any sense. There's a whole aspect about everyone being part of the puzzle, so everyone is important in their own way. Useful for everyone, that's the whole point of these things. So chill on this whole debate, honestly. The whole point is to open the world and people's ears to new things, to open horizons and learn to appreciate the variety that the world can showcase. That's what really matters. Western validation. Funny enough, the whole paving the way is connected to the West. To be precise, the North part. As a Latina, K-pop artists were doing concerts and visiting already. They were even played on radio, actually. Sadly, Eurocentrism and the whole aspect of America, that is a continent, being a synonym of the USA, is still a very profound mentality. Those are the places that matter. So is what happens there that is worthy of news, and it's the thoughts on whatever that really are important to listen to. And to that I say, bullocks. Again, first of all, they were already in other parts of the world, and they've already been praised. But also, again, a whole part of the industry is to make money. In fact, Korea has always had been into the Japanese music market because they make a lot of profit there. They also try the Chinese music market. It is about what is the money and how can they get it. In other parts of the world, in the West, the same happens. They need to also make a profit. And so it is not about actually opening to new music and new cool stuff, but about earning coins. I mean, funny how the first time one gets invited, the second time gets nominated, and the third time wins. Third time is the charm, I guess. Of course, the charm in order to profit from the fans and not to lose them. To make news and have free publicity, while also changing very little inside the system. Hey, if you care about the shows and Western validation, it's fine. Many of the groups care for it and it's valid. I mean, to be fair, they can help having new fans and that's cool. But let's just be honest about how the thing actually works and how it is a very limited point of view. Award shows are meh. Look, I was really into MTV and all the award shows. I would watch them all if possible. And I recall a K-pop group winning an MTV Europe show and losing my mind. Then, as time went on, I realized that they do not mean a lot unless you are in the industry or unless you give it that importance. I mean, I was just a fan getting fed by celebrity culture. That was my only gain. I do want to say that even the Korean shows and Asian shows also are not really indicators of much other than fame. There is nothing wrong if you like them, they can have cool performances and fun things. But, well, do you know the Macarena? Chances are you do, and funny enough, that hasn't got a lot of very important awards and hasn't been praised by all critics. Yet, it is known by a crazy amount of people till this day all around the world. Also, it slaps. Move by Temin, an artist and song that gets still praise and that artists themselves love, and the choreo that we all are still dancing to did not win a big award, or even a small award for that matter. Having a big fan base helps a lot, which kind of sucks when a smaller group or artist is trying to get in the industry but has no chances of winning, even if they might have done something great. It is not the case with Move, of course, but the shows can give a great opportunity and can help a lot, and it is sad to see that the big fan bases use it as a fun war, which further proves that it is not really important. Okay, as a fellow human, I get it. I know what it means to have a group or artist or even more than one that made or makes you very happy, that gives you good emotions. It is normal that during hardships, the things that help us go through those moments retain a special place in our heart and mind. The K-pop industry in particular is very good at making you feel way more part of the whole thing. You can know so much about them and even see them grow and you feel a connection. This goes for not only K-pop but similar things. There is nothing wrong with having something to help you. Sometimes we need a something that might even seem silly to just survive, and that's okay. Do use it and try to get the best parts of it. Then learn to let go and learn to be more than that. Something that helped you once can become an anchor, and you deserve better than that. It is very nice to see people caring for people they never met before. That speaks a lot about our humanity and our capacity to be empathic and to want to connect, both with artists and with fellow fans. To fall in love with a culture, a place you have never seen, that's fantastic. But come back to yourself, to what you are and what you need, where you are. If it's getting a lot, if you are not having fun, or if it's more about fighting and proving whatever you feel that you have to prove, instead of just having fun and liking it for the most basic things that make you like it in the first place, then take a step back and try to see what's happening. Things change, you might change your taste or get bored, you might want something else, you might discover things about yourself or about your faves that might change the whole experience, and that's okay. Here's the thing, the good things that had happened and the ways that something had helped you, that's never going to go away. That time already passed and that importance will never go away. But it is important to go forward. It might be hard and it might take time because, yes, sometimes you could spend the rest of your life being a fan and having all your happiness or a big part of it coming from that, and that's great. But there is also a big chance that things are going to change. And the most important thing is that in the case of K-pop, which is just music, you are the most important part of it. If you're having fun, that's great. If it's giving you happiness, that's great. But it's you in your whole aspect as a human, and K-pop is just one part of it. It shouldn't be everything. Hopefully it is clear that I'm not here to fight. If you feel personally attacked, if you feel there's something that hit you home, just remember that I don't know you. It is not personal. This is something that, by the way, I have to do as well, quite a lot. Which is remind myself that, hey, not everything is what it seems. Things can be easier and some things can be a bit more complex and complicated. Just try to understand that I just want to put my thoughts out there, open the conversation. Let's be respectful. Once again, it should be fun. Can we go deeper and make everything about very important issues? Absolutely we can. But then also, it should be fun, it should be interesting. So yeah, these were my 12 thoughts on K-pop. And yeah, this is long enough, so I'm going. Bye!